Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Mr. Corman. And this is a new A24 series from Apple TV Plus, created by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who also directs most of the episodes and stars in most of the episodes. And this is a show that it's a deep cut into the days and nights of a public school teacher in San Fernando Valley. It deals with COVID, it deals with relationships, family, love relationships, and different kinds of things like that. And there's a very surrealist and abstract approach to the storytelling of the show. And each episode feels like it kind of stand on its own as its own little story. There is a through point through most of the episodes, but they never feel particularly necessary for you to just pick up any episode and kind of get a sense of what this man, that's Mr. Corman, is dealing with in his life at that very moment. There's some episodes that don't just focus on him. You see Joseph Gordon-Levitt really giving a strong performance in this show with this character. You see a lot of different sides of his life, and you see him interacting with his roommate, played by Arturo Castro, who's Victor, and there's a whole episode just for Victor, focused on him. And that's this kind of show where you have different perspectives for different episodes, and there's some like strange, surrealist, like musical numbers or like animated sequences, and things get a little trippy and take you for interesting rides. Very art house approach to some pretty relatable, for the most part, human drama. And you have an episode where you have Castro's character focusing on like trying to be a good dad and being separated from his significant other, who they're both trying to raise this child. You have Josh Corman going on dates in the first episode, and things go sideways real quick. You have him dealing with his relationship with his mother, played by Debra, who gives in a strong performance. There's one particular episode with One Night with his father, played by Hugo Weaving, and that's a really powerful episode, and Weaving gives a fantastic performance. You have Juno popping up from like this girl from his past, and there's a really great through point in terms of the relationship that they have there. You feel his love for music, and that's missing in his life. You deal with all of the awkwardness of COVID, and at the very beginning of like it could be on anything and you could get it from anything, so like he like microwaves the burgers from ordering out and stuff like that, and you just have all these different kinds of things all rolled into this show. And it could be a little bit more focused and a little bit more cleaned up, but I felt like this was a pretty ambitious and interesting show that, it takes on a lot of cliched kind of stories and does do some very interesting and art house types of storytelling techniques to try to jazz it up. And they are still pretty standard stories, but I feel like Joseph Gordon-Levitt puts a lot of passion into the performance and into the filmmaking that goes into each of these episodes. And some of them are more interesting than others, some of them connect more than others, but in the end, I felt like this was a pretty interesting and engaging show, and it has a lot to relate to, it has a lot to connect with, and I think it works really well on that level. So I feel like Mr. Corman's definitely a show worth experiencing, and you might love some episodes, you might not care for some episodes very much, but it's the kind of show where I feel like you could at least appreciate the craft that went into all of this, and what else should you expect from A24 and Apple TV Plus? But those are my thoughts on Mr. Corman Season 1. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some TV. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.